and you can quote this on me. There is no way the Orioles or Red Sox make the playoffs this season. Yeah, yeah. There's no way. There's no way.
I set the bar really low at the NBA predictions.
I don't think all Mavs fans look into the stats like I do.
It's not the great value Target brand toilet paper or whatever. It's the Charmin Ultra Strong.
I don't know if Nick Nurse is the coach for the Raptors. I don't know if he's the reason why they won the 2019 championship. I feel like that was more of a team effort.
The Mavs cannot say we do not miss Seth Curry shooting threes.
This questions the firing of Dwayne Casey, who I think is a very underrated coach.
To me, the Capitals really pushed all their chips for this season.
Hello, I'm Mike Grimes, and you've been listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by the man Austin as we go through this sad, beautiful, tragic story of Mike Trout.
Yeah, it's definitely more sad than beautiful recently, and he was amazing this year. I know his batting average wasn't the greatest, but he was still leading the entire MLB in home runs, or at least tied with it. He had a higher OPS plus than he did last year. The last time he played 73% of games, which I think is fine, was back in 2022 when he played 119 games. But the last time he played a significant portion of the year was in 2020 when he played 53 of a possible 60 games and was fifth in MVP voting. He was also eighth in MVP voting in 2022. But what's next? Is it staying with the Angels? Because he definitely has lost his trade value for this season. But what's next for Mike Trout?
I wonder, he is great. Like, he's still fantastic, so I don't think retirement should be considered. I think maybe moving him out of center field.
I don't think Mike Trout wants that.
Okay.
He also wasn't bad in the field this year.
Yeah, no, I've heard players, and I've heard mostly media members talk about how center field puts a lot of pressure on the body. Like, they'll talk about with Aaron Judge. The person I heard the most of it was with Josh Hamilton being in center field, and there were other issues with Josh Hamilton, like the drug use, his previous drug use, and how that affected his body. But it was in conversations about Joey Gallo and putting a lot of pressure on the body for guys, and we get it with Aaron Judge too. And I remember one guy I followed was like, they should move Mike Trout to right field for less strain on the body.
I get that, but I think it's more of an issue that I think he's overexerting himself in regards to how bad the team is. I think he's trying to make plays that his body cannot make, and he's older. And while he can still make amazing plays, he was good this year in the field. He was good hitting the ball. But I think he's trying a little bit too hard to just will his team to victory every game, and that can put a lot of strain on a person.
Yeah, so like mentally as well as like putting the maximum amount of stress on your body to win. That's what you're kind of referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I definitely can see that. And like he was hitting a home run, so maybe he's pulling the ball. You mentioned his batting average is lower than previous years. Maybe he's focusing more on getting it out of the park instead of just hitting the ball. So it could definitely happen, especially with Shohei Ohtani. So maybe the Angels can use this to get better because I think like they have called up prospects in better years. It's just finally putting it together is the thing.
Do you think Mike Trout should be on the Angels opening day of next year?
I think so. Like I would love it to see if he stayed with the Angels. However, I wouldn't blame him if he requested a trade. I don't think the Angels should trade him because there's not much value, as you mentioned. And
I think fully healthy there still would be, though, because it's Mike Trout.
That's true. But I really don't.
It's the same thing. I know basketball, great players have more of an advantage than in baseball, but it's kind of like the KD thing. KD, after he tore his Achilles tendon, there were still a lot of teams that Brookwood especially that wanted his services. And then Phoenix after that, after he still was injured some years with the Nets. I know this last year he played 75 games, but he's younger. He's older than Trout. So I feel like if Trout went to the right team and didn't have to overexert himself, he could be healthier. So I wouldn't say that his value is necessarily low. It's just not at the peak that it once was.
Yeah, so I don't really see, because you got to think about it too with the Angels, the market value too. Like if you get rid of Mike Trout, are you really going to get enough prospects or future capital to help your team get?
Yeah, but what's the point of keeping him?
I think you can run it back, and I think it would be nice if he stayed in one city. And I think they can get better. I think they really can. It seems like they were putting it together, but they just haven't been able to, because given their recent drafts, like they got as Zach Neto finally came up, but they may have rushed him. But I do think they will start getting those draft picks because they're in a new regime now for the roster, and I do think those drafts are going to start providing fruit, or bearing fruit is the phrase.
I could see. I mean, you can't miss on every prospect, and they have been drafting better as of recently. Even though, like you said, they may be rushing guys and going for prospects that are a lot more pro-ready than some others who are going to take a while. But I'm still concerned because Trout is at an age where he can't do everything. And even if he comes back next year to LA, I don't think they're in a position to contend. And he'll be 33 next year. And while that's not a dinosaur, and there's still players who played amazing seasons at that age, and I still believe he has it in him to do that. But I believe he wants to contend in his career, and you're not leaving him much leeway, again, if we're going through a whole 3 to 5 year rebuild with him still on the team.
Yeah, and by contend, I think you mean contend for the World Series, not just playoffs. I can view them getting short term to the playoffs, and to me that I think whenever you get to the playoffs, you always have a chance, realistically. Now, is it a probable chance? No. So yeah, I wouldn't blame, if he wants to go compete for a World Series, then I wouldn't blame him. I think it would take a long run or a magical run for him to make it to the World Series, unless the Angels go out and spend a lot of money, almost a la Rangers, a la Dodgers. Probably Dodgers more recently, of just signing everyone and making big trades.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think they're 1 or 2 or even 3 trades away.
Well, I'm thinking like I'm looking at it would be 2025 free agents, right? Yes. Like, what happens if they went out and signed? Just a lot of things could happen, but what happens if they go sign Pete Alonso, Matt Chapman, and let's say, I'd probably go pitcher to Blake Snell. Just something to where they go all out, do what the Dodgers did, and sign a bunch of players and try to compete now, while also banking on their prospects.
The Angels, I think, have tried that before when they were going for Pujols and Rendon. I know those were separated for a lot of years, but they've gone for older guys or guys that are successful or past successful. But the whole Rendon situation has really messed up their financials, and obviously I don't think he necessarily cares anymore. So you have to go for the right guys at the right time, and the Angels have gotten unlucky with whether it's injuries or bad timing or, again, players just wanting the money. So I do think that they still have a lot of issues. I could see them trying to get a playoff spot, but it seems like every year, at least from like 2018 to 2020 or 2016 to 2020, like they get really, really close, like above 500 team, but we're never considered a playoff team, or maybe they were a contender for the playoffs but never made it.
Yeah, it is sad, and just we haven't seen a lot of Mike Trout in the playoffs, and we experienced the same thing with Ohtani. And yeah, and it stinks for him as an injury too, just like you talked about his past seasons. And like it just hurts the league, and I think fans of the sport, especially fans of the Angels.
Yeah, well, your opinion is that he should be on the Angels at the start of 2025?
Yeah, I would like to. I don't see the benefit of trading him. Or I do see the benefit. I'm just not willing to do that benefit unless I get blown away. Because I'm thinking from an Angels management perspective. If Mike Trout, I can definitely see him going like, I want to compete in my career. I would like a trade.
He's done so many great things for this team. Would you not honor that?
Yo, yeah. If Mike Trout came to the Angels and said, I want a trade, I'd absolutely honor it. I'd go, okay, let's work it out to where we can get something, but also we send you to the right team. Like, I wouldn't send him kind of what the Trailblazers did with Dame to wherever. I'd talk to a few teams and go, hey, here's Mike Trout. What can you give us? But I wouldn't just, if Mike Trout doesn't ask for a trade, I wouldn't, as the Angels, trade him away.
Okay. Do you think he will request a trade?
I'm going to say no.
I think I'll agree with that. Mike Trout decides how long he stays in LA, not the
Yes.
Angels.
And I think as an Angels, you should honor that.
Yeah. I mean, he's the best player of his generation, maybe him and Kershaw, at least during the regular season. And he's been there through the few good and a lot of bad. So I think you're right that you would have to honor no matter his request.
Yeah. So let us know what you think in the comments, and I'll toss this over to you to close out, Austin.
Yeah. What do you guys think Trout should do? What do you guys think the Angels should do? And please catch us in our next video.